And all that slide was, it's all about asking great questions. How do we do it? First of all, very quickly, you got to understand what selling persuasion is. Selling is not a bad word, and selling is the process of motivating someone to recognize that they need and or want what you have to offer. Selling is the process of motivating someone to recognize that they need and or want what you have to offer. Isn't that a different statement or a different question than how do I get somebody to do business with me? So when you ask yourself, which is the way most LOs will approach business, is how do I get them to say yes? How do I get them to do business with me? I understand that me getting a yes from you is motivating you to recognize, because it all comes with recognition, to recognize that I have something you want or need. And when you approach it from that place, you'll do it in a much more strategic way. So what does this continue to look like? So there are two secrets to effective persuasion, and they exist all around us. They are used against us every single day. We use them on other people every single day, but we don't necessarily realize we're doing it. But the twin forces is first of all, you got to inspire the prospect to really want what you are offering. Let's do a timeout. Think about your normal presentation to a realtor or a referral partner. Are you usually just telling them what you do? Or is there really a way that you've structured in your presentation to get them to want what you are offering? And for most people, they're just giving the information and hoping that the want takes care of itself. But see, here's what's really cool. If we go back to the 6 things that I talked about, the pain, the frustration, the voids, and everything else, if I get you to recognize that you have a void here, and then all of a sudden I present something that will fill the void, doesn't that start the process of want? How many of you got this? Okay. So right now, I know what's going on in your head. Ron, this all makes sense, but I don't understand how to do it. Okay. You're going to understand in just a couple of minutes exactly how to do it. So after you get somebody to want, then you have to get them to justify getting it. Because here is the buying process, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we make decisions. We decide what we want, and then we justify in our mind taking action. But most of us approach sales trying to justify why someone should do something. Does this make sense, at least conceptually? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of many game changers that I've given you. Want is emotional. Justification is logic. This is like, okay, and I'll say this knowing full well that my wife is down the hall, okay, is I got these shoes. They're really nice. But honey, you don't need any more shoes. Okay? Right? She wants the shoes. They're really nice. But honey, you don't need more shoes. But they were on sale. Who gets what I'm talking about here? Charmaine, I know you do because you're laughing. Okay? Some of you are sitting there saying, I know he's talking to me, but how does he know he's talking to me? Okay? By the way, I didn't talk about any kind, this is not just male or female. Okay? I think I shared with you earlier on in the program, that my biggest passion is boating. Okay. And I got very good news today. I was sharing with Matt today that my boat was put in the water today. So I get to hopefully be out on the water pretty soon, even though it's still damn cold. I don't care. It just gets me out. But I'm a boater. I love boating. And so I hadn't been boating since I was since I was younger. And then, we got married. I sold my boat, so basically she was wearing my previous boat on her finger, and I used to take like a little string and put around it and say, take me water skiing because I don't have a boat anymore. Then we had to put my son through college. And then finally, when he was in his final year of college, this was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Final year of college, we were getting dressed one morning, and I just look at my wife. I go, I want a boat. I go, we don't have college payments anymore. We're done. And she just looked at me and knew there was not going to be an argument here. So she's like, okay. So, but I wasn't sure if I was going to have the same love for it as I used to. So I went and I bought an older used boat. Didn't cost a lot of money. And immediately, I was a kid again, fell in love with it. And it was like I'd never left. So I had the boat for 3 years. And then that one had a closed bow. So then my wife said, we really should get one that's more open. So the first boat was 24 feet. And I said, okay, I agree we should get something that's more open, because she absolutely said she would never sleep on the boat. So I'm like, okay, well, then that cabin's really a waste. So we bought a 24-foot open bow rider, open seating plan, and loved the boat and everything else. But, boating where we are, Long Island Sound, it's an incredible place to go boating, but it can get a little bit choppy out there. So one day we were talking, and my wife said, yeah, maybe we should think about buying maybe we should underline think about getting a large, a bigger boat. Well, I was already, I'm highly emotionally connected to boating. So do you think I heard that we should think about getting a boat, or we are getting a bigger boat? Because all I heard is we're getting a bigger boat. And that night I was on the computer looking for bigger boats. Needless to say, looking, and we had our whole discussions or whatever, and how to make her feel comfortable about getting the bigger boat and what have you. And of course, once I found the bigger boat that I fell in love with, all the logic had to kick in for how I was going to pay, why I was going to pay that kind of money for a very expensive boat. But I'm sharing with you my buying process for a boat, some people's buying process for cars, some people's buying process for shoes or clothing. It's all based upon emotional logic. How many of you get this? So now take a step back and just close your eyes for a second. And I want you to imagine your presentation to borrowers or your presentation to referral partners. And does it really key in on this whole process of motion and logic? And for most of you, the answer is no. You're just telling them what you do. So boat equals break out another 1,000. No, Scott, it's not another 1,000. It's just add an S to that at the end, and you're going to be a lot more accurate on what boat stands for. Okay, it's plural. It's not singular. I found that out yesterday. Anyway, let's not talk about boating anymore. So continuing on.